And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. Yes, it is Your Impact Attack here at channelattitude.com and on the Hameen Media Group Podbean channel at what is it, like HMG? Is it Hameen Media Group .podbean.com? Oh, we're getting some feedback here. There's
What's
an
up?
echo. It might have been you there, Brandon.
Yeah, I saw his chin.
You haven't even introduced him yet.
Yeah, I know. Brandon's over here ruining the introductions to start the show. Damn it. I'm going to
My
need.
bad. I'm sorry.
You know what? Much like we had for this go home show tonight, I'm going to need
Guards! More
come in here and take Brandon out of here. Get him on out of here, much like they took Eric Young out of the ring before the main event of the go home show. But we are not alone, as you heard the other voice that wasn't Brandon's. No, that's not Big Ray's. No, that's not Stevie Richards' voice. No, that is the 12-time Indian leg wrestling champion of North Dakota. It's the Vet.
Oh, hi everyone.
Aren't you still champion?
Yeah, well, because Nick Dinsmore's in South Dakota, right?
Yeah.
And we've been trying to work. We're trying to work something out where we settle this once and for all. Who's the best leg wrestler in the Dakotas? But with current, in these difficult times, Colin, it's been hard. But I think we'll be able to get something. I think we're seeing a lot of things going back to normalcy. We may finally have an undisputed Dakotas leg wrestling champion.
Very nice, very nice.
Northern States Heritage leg wrestling champion of the Dakotas.
And the man who ruined the introduction to start the show, none other than our very own Brandon. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
How you all doing?
Yes, Chris Sabin, we do love this match. We love this combination of hosts here at the Impact Attack. It is the VBC, and we've got some people in the chat already here. We've got I don't have fun chat music here. Let's see. Ray doesn't like my chat music.
Nobody likes your chat music.
That's terrible. You
I told you last week when you were playing it. Nobody liked it.
It's awesome. I love it. All right, yeah. Let's see. I don't even have anything to really play. Okay, so we're just gonna go with this really quietly here.
Way to confuse the people.
Yeah, this is the Impact Attack. It is not the Ridiculously Random podcast. You catch that Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and Big Ray Hernandez. Vet, are you on YouTube? Can you let us know who we have over in the YouTube channel? Because I can only see who has commented.
Well, so far it only says that we have Liz and Spaceman here, but I saw Buckshot Kid earlier.
Yeah, Buckshot Kid. We are also broadcasting over at the Twitch channel that I have here, and we've got Alexa all the way from Germany hanging out. It's pretty early over there, I believe. Alexa's hanging out. I am not on my laptop, Buckshot Kid. I am on the desktop, the old desktop. And it's not Yohimbo. It's Javi. Gia.
That's right. Well, I can tell you this: if for some reason that you get kicked out of this show again, probably nobody from the police is going to be calling either one of us. I would hope. So we'll just keep the show moving right along. And if you don't get back by the time that we finish, then we'll just end it without you. So.
Well, while we're doing this, ladies and gentlemen, make sure if you're over here on the YouTube channel, you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and then you smash that notification bell, or you can slightly tickle it, whatever you want to do to it, just as long as you touch it in some manner, some way, shape, or form, so that we can get credit for that. Let's get those likes and everything up. It helps with the algorithm. We can take a little time here. We'll play some more of this music while you guys hit that like button YouTube channel.
Smash it with your booty like Nikita.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Vet, how was your week, Vet?
Well, let's see. Elden Ring came out.
Ooh, yes. I need to download that. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to get it, but I watched everybody else playing it in the damn world, and I was like, you know what I'm not seeing? I'm not seeing a lot of smashing here. I see a lot of slicing, I see a lot of stabbing, but I don't see a lot of smashing. So I decided to fill that void, and I'm working on like a hammer, like a war hammer build right now, and eventually I want to wield the the Dragon Slayer, Guts' Dragon Slayer.
You're gonna get the gut sword.
Yeah. So I got one, but my stats aren't high enough yet. Need a few more levels to wield effectively. So I've been streaming all that gameplay on Twitch. So, we've had some of our
twitch.tv/opinionhaver.
It sure is, Colin, and we've had a lot of our luminaries were kind enough to join me, including Buckshot Kid, and Sonic the Hedge Rat, and Media M5, and or MV Hitman, depending on where you know him from. And so we got a good group of people there that are watching along with my playthrough, and so that's been good. But that's really all I've been up to, and the same old usual shit. Trying to cram in a bunch of wrestling that I didn't really care to watch.
That's true. That's true.
New Japan Cup started. So, we're still working through the first round. Here's
the Hedge
Sonic
Rat
right
joining
here.
us here. Vet, did you catch any UFC this weekend?
No
UFC this week.
I saw that there was going to be, Colby and Jorge, but a lot of yes, a lot of fucks come out of it playing Elden Ring. Yes, you get killed a lot in those games, so some of it's fair, some of it's not, and I let you know which ones with my language. So, anyways, I saw that it was going to be Colby and Jorge, and I thought that was intriguing, but then I saw that it went to a 5-round decision, and I was like, well,
Colby beat the brakes off that dude.
Well, why didn't he win? Like, why didn't he knock him out then?
He could have. There was a couple of times where they probably should have stopped the fight, but they were giving Masvidal that chance. There were definitely a couple of times he was taking some flurries up against the fence where the ref was eyeing it rather closely.
Well, when Hitman Mike was talking about it in the chat, he said that Jorge actually stunned Colby once and couldn't follow up, and then he made the excuse that he was too tired.
That was the only real chance that Jorge had the whole entire time they fought. But Colby was just putting it on him. Colby was doing this new move that he's got where he dips like he's going to go for the takedown, and then he comes up with a right high kick or a left high kick. And it was working very effectively against Jorge this entire fight. It was working so well, Vet, that he started getting sloppy with the feint. Like at one point in time, he just and then came up, like didn't even like go for a takedown. He just like dipped the head, and then came up with a kick and like just totally surprised Masvidal with the shot. Let's. I mean, if Usman wasn't around, Colby would be champ. I mean, hands down.
Do you think this is like? Do you think Colby is being manufactured somewhat, or do you think that it's Jorge was being manufactured because they figured they could get some star power out of a so-so?
Oh, Jorge's the one that's totally been manufactured. If you followed Jorge's career for a long time, you would see that he's not like him getting this notoriety and everything that he's gotten. It's because he knocked out Ben Askren the way that he knocked him out. It's because he's donned the Nick Diaz persona.
Wasn't
right?
Like we don't have a two-piece and a biscuit guy?
Yeah, he's the two-piece and a biscuit guy, yeah. But
who was that? Who was that involving? I forgot. It was so long ago now.
I think it was Colby that he was talking about with the two-piece and a biscuit. But
really?
Sounds pretty good right about now.
Yeah, that does sound really good right about now. But
all right, let's stop the show and let's all go get the two-piece.
All right, everybody, we're gonna hang on. Let me. All right, this is your time right now. If you have a Popeyes, a Bojangles, a Pollo Loco, a Los Hermanos Pollo,
They probably don't serve biscuits there.
a Church's, a KFC. Help me out, guys. Let's see. What are we missing here? Hardee's used to serve it. I'm sure they still have biscuits.
Yeah, they do.
We've got Big Ray in the chat. Big Ray, help me out. Jorge is definitely overrated, but you know it's not overrated? A 2-piece and a biscuit from Bojangles. Bojangles. You can get a 2-piece and a biscuit, much like Colby Covington gave to Jorge Masvidal. All right. Let's see. So everybody's just saying hi in the chat. Brandon, how was your weekend?
It was good. Just kind of spent a lot of time chilling, relaxing, and disconnecting, and just getting away from stuff. But it was relaxing and enjoyable.
Gotcha. Yeah. I had the kids this weekend. It was very fun. Grilled out.
No one asked.
Had some good.
No
times.
one asked, Colin.
Had some good times.
No one asked what you.
You know.
did.
You know what, Vet? I'm taking down your banner promoting your Twitch. That can go away now, sir.
Now, how will they ever find me?
How dare you? How ha 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 ha! How dare you?
Ha 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 ha!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the free review of your Impact Attack over at channelattitude.com. And this is our hot topic for the evening. Let's see. Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, Chelsea Green, and Mickie James. We'll get to that, but I've got some news here. Chelsea Green injured her wrist at the most recent taping at the pay-per-view. What's going on here, Vet? Let's go to you first before we go to Brandon. What do you think's up with Chelsea Green's wrist? It seems like it's the other one she broke this time. Is it she's just brittle? What does she need to do to strengthen her wrists?
I don't know. Well, she could stop doing stupid shit. I didn't really think anything of it when I watched the match. So what you're referring to is Chelsea actually, and we're skipping ahead here, but we'll come back around to it. Chelsea actually wanted to go out to the ring with Mickie for her championship match against Tasha Steelz because she knew Savannah Evans was going to be there, right? So then Mickie was like, no, I'll do this by myself. I got to do this. And she was like, don't make this. And Chelsea was like, don't make the same mistake I made. And Mickie was like, but I'm going to do it anyway. And Chelsea was like, okay, well, we're still best friends. And
did she do one of these?
No, but they did they did like the.
Did they kiss? Like,
almost. They did
like
something where they came up with where it was like, you know, love you, mean it, or something like, I don't know, some little thing they did. And then, so yeah. So then when Deanna's got time for her champ challenge, Chelsea answers the challenge. So that gives her something to do, right? So she goes out there. And I just watched the match. I didn't really think of anything of it. Deanna, ended up winning with her, her Fujiwara armbar thing. Speaking of which, Colin, sidebar for the free review. Did you see the anniversary show for New Japan had Yoshiaki Fujiwara in a 6-man tag with Minoru Suzuki and, God, who was the other guy? I forgot. But anyway, yeah, it was like some they had some legends. Yoshiaka's out there, his body's looking like a melting candle. He's 70-something years old. Still, he headbutted the turnbuckle. He took the little pad off the turnbuckle. Not the turnbuckle, like not the ring in the corner, but the actual part that you turn to tighten the ropes. Like he took that little strip of padding off and just headbutted it twice.
Oh
so
gosh.
Fujiwara still got it. Got it.
Vet, I'm going to turn that question around on you. Do you think that I watched the anniversary show for New Japan?
Well, I don't think you watched that, but I think that it's possible that clips of things could come across your table, especially if they're involving old MMA legends. But I guess not. I guess you're just a fraud MMA fan like we all thought. So back to the Impact Wrestling. It's I didn't think anything about the match. But now that you're saying that she's injured, I'm going to go ahead and guess it's when she dove out the ring and landed all over Deanna and probably cracked it on the ramp, breaking her fall. That's the best place I could think of that she would have hurt her wrist in that match. Because she just, like most people do who try to do a suicide dive, they just sail like over or through or whatever and land in some, unsafe, dangerous way. So that's my guess. If this is a real injury, that's my guess.
It's true. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
The way it came across on the pay-per-view, it looked like they're trying to go for a work shoot maybe, or she could be legit hurt. I honestly don't know. It just came across really, really awkward.
I just think she's brittle. This could be a bad sign if she continues to hurt herself and break bones and things like that.
It's been the same spot though. It could be just that.
Well, then she needs to stop doing that, I think.
Well, she's hurt herself in other ways. You remember, like the SmackDown debut, like she's just been, she's gotten injured at some very unfortunate times. But, learn to work, kid. That's the best advice I can. You got so many things going for you before your suicide dive. I really don't know why you feel like you need to do that. So
Ric Flair broke his back and figured out a way to work around it.
I mean, Stone Cold broke his
by
neck
getting backdropped on the outside every single night.
And Stone Cold broke his neck, finished the match, and then figured out how to work around his 2 broken knees and all those other things. So it can be done. You can change your style in the ring. I mean, Daniel Bryan kind of changed his style a little bit.
Not really.
He's kind of gone back. Well, he did when he first came back, but now he's gone full bore back to Daniel Bryan of old days.
Yeah, when he first came back, he was doing stupid shit. Yeah, but I didn't like his WWE matches. Now he just kicks and punches people. I like that much better. That's what he should have always been doing.
I got 2 more little Impact news things here. Not someone, not somebody, but something has confirmed he is no longer a part of Impact Wrestling, as Jake Something is the hottest new free agent to hit the market, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Something is no longer a thing with Impact Wrestling.
As you can tell by the silence there, that's how interesting of a story this is. Look, you look at a guy like Jake Something, you got to do something, right? Pun intended, with him. But first of all, if he goes somewhere else, he's not going to be known as that. So whatever credibility he's built up by coming up with this gimmick of being called Jake Something, that's all out the window. He's going to have to start from scratch. He's just going to be another, jacked white dude. So, good luck fitting into the other companies who are either signing up so much talent that they don't have enough hours in the day for all of it, or cutting people left and right because they also had the same problem.
Brandon, your thoughts on Jake Something leaving the Impact Wrestling?
That was kind of weird that they were building him up, but at the same time, it's kind of like, give him a nice send-off while feeding him to the X-Champ and giving him to build the X-Champ on the way out.
I like it. Yeah, that's true. And our last little piece of news here, I guess with Jake Something's giant contract now off the books, Impact Wrestling was able to re-sign the Impact Wrestler of the Year, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander.
This is not a real story, right? He was never not signed, right?
Yeah, he re-signs with Impact.
I'm pretty sure that he already probably had re-signed a while ago, and this year
His
they're
previous
just reporting on the
contract
storyline
expired
contract.
February 14th, and it was announced. Well, this came out.
It was announced at the end of Sacrifice when he came out with the big phony wrestling contract
March
that says
5th.
talent contract in giant bold letters
Right
on
here.
the front of it.
Look, it's right here. I'll show you.
That's when it was announced, right?
After the ad.
They announced that? Did they announce it ahead of the pay-per-view for his surprise entrance to spoil the surprise? Is that what you're saying?
It.
I'm just asking if you could just tell me. If you could just tell me the answers to my questions, that'd be. Somebody's trying very hard to warn Moose there. Moose!
They were very
No!
Was that you, Vet? Was that you in the back?
It wasn't.
Moose! Turn around, Moose!
It would have been if I had been there, but I'll never go back to that piece of shit city again.
They heard me from here.
Yeah.
See, there you go. He's back.
Well, okay, there you go. You spoiled the end of our show. We were all planning to have a big surprise, and let you know that Josh Alexander has re-signed with Impact in the phony contract. But you know, now everybody gets it for free. So
We
it's gonna be one of those nights.
a good
It's gonna be one of those
surprise
nights, guys.
on that. I feel like I feel so bad that I'm sorry. I ruined the surprise.
This is like when Canada Spaceman doesn't like the pace the show's going, and he just starts posting results in the chat. You know, like he just gets ahead of the show and just says, "Oh yeah, by the way, this person won this match."
I'm sorry, guys. I ruined it. I guess show's over now. We know what
Yeah.
happens. We know what
Oh
happens.
no, the show's just beginning. This is the end of the free portion of the show. If you want to find out how we salvage it, you're gonna have to be on Channel Attitude, and give us money. Give us the money. It's well worth it. It's well worth it, even if all you get is the Impact Attack, right? Like that alone is worth your $4.95 or $4.99 or I'm not quite sure, but I know it's cheaper than a Starbucks. So put that coffee down. Okay. Now, luckily, when you hear that Pillsbury Doughboy sound effect, you're often going to be hearing that on the Ridiculously Random podcast, which is totally free, and it should be. In fact, they should pay you to listen to it. So you don't have to worry about that cluttering up your Channel Attitude feed too bad.
And also depending where you're at, it could be cheaper than a gallon of gas.
It's true.
Could be cheaper than a gallon of gas.
And if you ever want to make it to the
main roster,
you got to make sure you get on to channelattitude.com. That's the only way you can level up around here, ladies and gentlemen.
I swear Colin's just going through his Roadcaster and pushing the buttons he forgot what they have on him. Just so he knows.
Oh.
Now that one he should always know. That should be clearly labeled.
They're all clearly labeled.
You there, sitting at home. Acknowledge me.
Yeah, thank you. So we kick off the show with our go home show. And I listened to this bit. So
Impact Radio.
Impact. It's really
It's a new
fun.
app
So,
on the App Store, and
it's so different. Just listening to Tom and the guy formerly known as Aiden English, Matthew Raywalt on the commentary, because they do really spell out like they paint a really good picture of kind of the action that's going on in the ring when you don't actually see it. It's kind of the opposite of watching an MMA fight, where you kind of want to mute Joe Rogan and John Anik sometime and just watch the fight without any commentary. It's so peaceful sometimes.
So how do you think they do? Now you're listening to this only as a radio broadcast now. So it's like a 1930s episode of The Shadow or something like that. And you got Tom,
Only Tom Hannafin knows.
the artist. Yeah. So like how is the show that way? Like how do you,
Like I said, it's good.
Do you feel they paint a good enough picture that you basically don't need the visual?
Mhm.
Or Wade
And then
Keller like a
sometimes while
bedtime
I'm
story.
driving. Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
Or Wade Keller like a bedtime story.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like while I'm driving, I do want to see what's going on, right? Like they'll say something like I was driving during the Inspiration Influence match on the Go Home show here, and the part where he catches Jessie McKay as she kind of falls into his arms and stuff like that. Like they kind of painted the picture like, oh no, he fell, and you hear them screaming like, drop her now, and he's just like looking around like, what? They painted that picture. I kind of wanted to see that, right? Like because there's something going on. But they do for other parts, like during the match and the moves and things like that, they do a really good job. I mean, it's not fucking Pat Summerall and John Madden, okay? Like there is a class of commentary. You know, it's not Jesse and Gorilla, or I mean, it could be Jerry Lawler and JR. I don't, the puppies. If Matthew Raywalt yells out the puppies one day, I mean, Mickie James had the puppies out in this Go Home show. She really did.
So much that you could hear it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you could hear the puppies. They were out. They were out in full force. But no, this is you get a mix of even Matthew Raywalt trying to be a heel commentator, like the stuff with Mickie James in this Go Home show. He kind of, why you have to put me beside her, and he was sticking up for Deanna, and he still has you fucking hit me with a guitar. Like don't say guitar around me because I have flashbacks of her hitting me, right? Like, so it's nice to see the continuation of the story and him still playing along in that type of stuff. So they're good. They're growing on me. And other news that we didn't get to, D'Lo is not coming back. Honor No More ended D'Lo's commentary career with Impact.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Look at that. You had to pay for that. You didn't get that in the free for view.
I see. Well, does he still work there in some capacity?
I don't know. It just says he's not coming back to commentary. So it looks like they really like Hannafin and Raywalt on commentary.
Well,
Yeah,
God,
well,
I hope we didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, sure, I made fun of D'Lo sometimes for over-exaggerating things, but I didn't want him to lose his damn job.
See, even Liz respects the audio commentary game that Impact's slinging these days.
He might still be an agent or a producer backstage, though.
Sure, he's still in with the company some way, somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they seem to have settled into a groove, so that's good. And hopefully, if that's what Raywalt wants to do, it's definitely better than taking bumps. But then again, if you get out of that groove of being, in the ring constantly, keeping those calluses up, and then all of a sudden you're called into action, it's going to hurt quite a bit when you have to step back in there. So, but yeah.
Oh, so in all honesty, Vet, I was just trying to vamp because I couldn't remember what started the show, but we started the show with Eddie Edwards.
Should have just asked.
I know. We started the show with Eddie Edwards, trying to. This is the first match they have Eddie Edwards talking. They showed a little vignette of Eddie turning his back on Impact, his first words. But now we've got Eddie in his first match here. What did you guys think so far of it? It's a new Eddie. We've got a new Eddie, guys.
Well, I'm more concerned with Bert here because I'm not sure why he's being portrayed as like a defending hero of Impact when he was just recently kidnapping and torturing an Impact guy on camera. So
X Division champion, sir. You put respect on Trey Miguel's name.
He's still an Impact guy. That's an Impact championship. So, yeah. So, okay. And like, normally I would disavow this match because of the use of kendo stick. But since Kenny is an established character and he also immediately ends the match due to a disqualification, I guess there's no disavowal necessary. So
Well,
yes,
and
this match did happen.
that was the thing, Vet. It was said that no Impact Wrestling member nor Honor No More member could be there at the ring. So how was Kenny, the kendo stick, involved in the match? Yeah. Now, as I listened to this blew my mind the whole entire time because he's technically not allowed to be in the match because he is an Impact Wrestling superstar, right?
I think so, but maybe there's somewhere in the rule book where it says that a kendo stick can't be an Impact superstar. I'm not sure. I don't have the whole rule book in front of me.
Does this mean that Kenny the kendo stick is now a part of Honor No More?
I think he switched side. If there was ever a side, he jumped with Fat Eddie. I don't think that. I mean, we know Alicia didn't, so Kendra is still an Impact superstar, I think. But
Has to
Kenny,
be really awkward at the house, like Kenny and Eddie hanging out while Alicia's there. Like,
do you think they put up the curtain like halfway through the
they
the
got taped
dividing
down the
line?
house.
Like, yeah,
Like, leave us alone. We're playing PlayStation 5.
yeah.
Me and Kenny.
Me and Kenny.
God damn it, Kenny, stop beating me.
Yeah.
Wrestle House 3. Kenny
Yeah.
Kenny destroys Eddie Edwards in WWE 2K22.
If they do Wrestle House 3, they need to have Kenny and Kendra be sentient.
Might as well, right? It can't get any dumber. Yeah. After the match, Maria cuts her little Disney princess villain promo, and then Rob Zombie's son and Heath talked themselves into a match. So it was a good opening for Monday Night Raw. What about you, Brandon? What'd you think of this whole mess?
Yeah, it's pretty much about the same thoughts, just match into it. I really think we need to retrain the fans into boo heels and cheer faces, because it's like the fans, they cheer heels when they put on a good performance. It's like, no, you boo them. You do your job as the crowd, as the fan, to boo them.
I think being down there in New Orleans, Brandon, there's a lot of those types of fans, like the smart mark type of fans that are gonna like do the opposite of like what you said should happen. They're gonna cheer the heels and boo the faces.
Oh, I thought you meant, when you said those fans, I thought you meant drunk in public. But
Well,
you
I
were
mean,
saying
they're
smart
they are
fans.
in New
Okay.
Orleans, Vet. They are in New Orleans. I'm sure there's a lot of this going on.
Guards! More guards!
Down there in New Orleans. No, nothing else.
I mean, I'm sure there is. All right, so then Heath versus Vincent. Then
Yeah, Heath versus Rob Zombie's son. Oh man. I listened to this match again.
Mm-hmm.
I was just more excited for Heath, going over, getting the win here, and his shot at Moose. Like Moose.
We got to make Heath look. We got to make Heath look credible
great,
before
man.
his title match. To put him in there with the barefoot guy.
Hey man, I'm gonna be world champion, man. I done beat Rob Zombie's son, man. I got kids. Now I'm gonna beat Moose. I'm gonna win championship.
I can't wait till we get to the title match.
And I hit him with my special move, and I pinned him in the ring, Vet.
Yeah.
He pinned.
the fake
We all
move.
saw it, Heath. 1, 2, 3 in the
Yeah.
ring. Rich Swann. All he needed to do was put the referee shirt on. They can make matches. I don't know why someone just didn't make a match right then and there.
Right. I mean, they already made the
24/7
match. They
title.
already booked the match themselves. Why can't they just make this an official win? I don't understand. Well, you say you listened to it, and I wrote down here, I'm not paid enough to pay 100% attention to a match with these two. So, yeah, I really wasn't looking at it. The only important part is what you already said. Heath wins, and then, of course, you get as soon as he wins, you got Ho No Mo is going to come in the ring, and they're going to attack everybody, and then the Impact people are going to come out and fight. Even though it's always just the same. The same Team Eddie guys are defending the entire company of Impact, even though a bunch of people work there. And then in the confusion, Moose sneaks in and he tries to attack Heath, who moves out of the way. And then he hits Moose with whatever that move is that he does. And
That's my
fake
finisher,
pins him.
man.
Yeah, what's it called? I don't know, man.
I got kids.
Oh,
man.
wake up call.
It's
Wake
called,
up call.
Thank you, Brandon.
That's
It's
the
called
wake up call.
man.
I don't really think the character of Moose would concern himself this much with small fry like Heath Slater. You know,
Hey,
excuse me,
man,
Heath.
that's
Just plain Heath.
disrespectful.
And I certainly don't think this convinces anyone that Heath is going to be the champion after this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe this one had everyone on the edge of their seat thinking, hey, Heath's got a chance.
I like Heath. He seems like a good dude, but it's Heath.
Yeah. I honestly thought when this match was made, I was like, well, this ain't going to be the main event. You know, who was it that, yeah, Moose was just on the last pay-per-view. He wasn't even the main event, you know, in his championship match. So now Heath Slater gets a main event over Morrissey.
Heath.
Yeah, Heath. Yeah, him. Sorry,
it's two different.
It's a hard habit to break.
One's in the chat if you prefer Heath. Two's in the chat if you prefer Heath Bars. That's putting a 2 in the chat.
Yeah, excuse me. Excuse me right here.
That leads up to. Oh man, yeah. So we've got lots of 1s and 2s there.
Whoa,
there's your 2 right there.
Whoa, Spaceman
Space
put a
Man.
1. You like Heath over a delicious toffee covered candy and coated in chocolate? Like, ban him or time him out.
That he
Time
enjoys
out,
chin
Candace
locks.
Spaceman.
He enjoys chin locks. Heath, isn't that a candy bar? Yes, it is, Hoppy. Yes, it is. All right, so after this train wreck of Ho No Mo, and I feel like I'm ordering at Wendy's when I say that. Let me get the fo. So we got Ho No Mo, we got Impact Wrestling, we got
I get the biggie bag.
we got Moose, and then he gets the pin. He pins Moose in the middle of the ring. Vet, we
already covered this.
We did, yes, but still, he.
We talked about how it should have been official. Why didn't they make it official?
Why didn't they make it official? There was our chance.
In reality, Moose just knew that this was not official, so he didn't bother exerting any effort. Ray, a score bar is good. That is good. It's essentially the same thing, though. So
he likes Fat Heath.
I like Fat Heath.
What about Florida Water Heath?
Yeah. Yeah, we were discussing this in my Twitch stream earlier about how Heath Slater's probably looks like he does because he's retaining water from the gas that he's on. But he might be off the gas this time, so especially since it's so much per gallon.
It's true.
Not
yeah,
very
it's
cost
expensive now. It's getting there. It's getting there. Where to next, Vet?
Oh, we get a flashback to Sacrifice 2010, where the Motor City Machine Guns win.
Pew, pew,
Are you
pew,
ready?
pew.
Are you ready?
Pew, pew.
They win a number 1 contenders match for a shot at the tag team titles.
Who'd they beat?
Some people, Team 3D and somebody else. It doesn't. Oh, Beer Money probably.
Your money, yeah, it was Bobby Roode.
That is the most notable historical sacrifice clip that we have to promote the upcoming, pay-per-view like this, where they not even win a title. Is that was the best thing that happened on that in 2010. So in every sacrifice show, this was the best thing that they could have pulled from as a clip. They couldn't do the Steiner Math promo, even though it wasn't on Sacrifice. It was talking about Sacrifice. That's a better sacrifice. That's a better sacrifice promotion. They would have had a 33 1/3% better chance of getting the fans to buy Sacrifice if they would have just played the Scott Steiner promo.
That's true. You make a good point there, Vet.
Yeah, but speaking of points, Masha Slamovich is next.
Masha.
And versus a nice young lady named Rachel Rose. Not much to say here. Masha ate a flying knee from Rachel for the first bit of offense we've seen anybody get on her in a while. And shortly after that, young Rachel probably ate some hospital food because she got snowplowed into oblivion, and she probably won't be walking right for a little while. So we've seen Masha take a move now. So that's like we've seen like absolutely no opposition for the first few matches. Now we've seen her take one offensive move, so they're building it up, and she as the competition gets tougher, she'll probably be doing a little bit more selling until she can get to regular matches. But so far everything's fine. Brandon, do you like this? Are you getting into Masha? Is the build working? Is she becoming an unstoppable monster in your eyes?
It is. We could do a little more, just a little more. What that is, I'm not sure yet.
Well, until they figure it out, just do this.
Like maybe some vignettes explaining her background, just like like those little sit down, like you see in the UFC.
Thank you. Something, because all she's doing is coming out here and being a beast. And if we watch other wrestling promotions, we're seeing that now with someone who's on another Goldberg streak with their little TNT title that they've got right now. So give her, like Brendan said, give her some backstory. Let's see something other than her going out there squashing people, because what goes on in this women's division that's already thin enough. Now we've got Lady Frost and we've got Giselle Shaw, coming in. Now we've got Masha Slamovich coming in. So we've got these 3 new girls coming in. Which one are you going to promote, and who's going to take on who? And then you've got Rosemary, you've got Havoc, Tasha, Savannah, Mickie James, and Deanna. It's a very thin women's roster right now. And then, of course, the Iconics and Madison Rayne and Neil.
There's actually plenty of women.
But
for a division, but like everybody's got to kind of take their turns getting a shot at the title the way they have it. But
how do you have her continue to run through people though, Vet?
Well, she hasn't run through anybody yet. Yeah. They bring in outside talent to lose to her, local talent, whatever, and that's fine as long as they keep going to places. They only need to find 1 or 2 people per taping to lose to her, and that's fine. But I don't know what their plan is for her. I agree with Liz that she kind of reminds me of Bull Nakano because her hair goes straight up.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I knew I saw that looked familiar.
Bull Nakano looking good, by the way. There was a picture floating around of her and Medusa, and Bull Nakano,
yeah. So, and I'm also glad that Impact didn't like. I mean, obviously this was taped a while ago, but I hope that they don't do anything like pull back on Masha just because of what's going on in the world. That's not fair to her. She has nothing to do with it. So hopefully they just put that out, just continue doing what they're doing, and not let those things like influence any of their programming. But yeah, sometimes you just, you want to do something with somebody and you're not quite sure. So you can kind of tread water until you figure out what that thing is, or maybe an opportunity presents itself. And then when the time is right, you pull the trigger. And then when you have something like AEW's got this big thing going on with Jade Cargill, as you mentioned, where she's undefeated now. So obviously they're open to working with each other. So we could see a Masha versus Jade Cargill sort of. We could see that one day. That could be one of the challengers for her That Bitch Show title. You could have Masha, but whatever they want to do, just don't jump the gun. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I like it.
So after that,
right here, look at that.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying. Look at how she looked back in the day when she was wrestling. Everybody had the hots for Medusa. Now people would be like, not Medusa, and be like, yo, Bull Nakano's kind of hot.
She was hot then, but she was
just her character.
She was just a little bit. She's a little bit thick with 2 C's, as the kids would like to say, and she had crazy makeup and hair. So back then, that made you a classic heel.
She still has the crazy makeup.
Yeah, but anyway, so G.O.D. backstage. Now, this was sort of a highlight of this show, right? Because these two guys were being very real with their promo, right? Especially Tama. If you want to see like what looks like very believable emotion in a backstage wrestling thing with guys talking to the camera, go watch this.
I bet you have to do it like Tama was doing it.
Yeah,
whisper
like
it to everybody right now.
Well, if I can't do it because I don't have that kind of passion. I wasn't betrayed. I wasn't betrayed by my brothers in the Bullet Club, so I can't even imagine what he's going through. So I'm not even going to try to replicate it. But it was very intense. And then Violent by Design walks up, and then
It's kind of funny.
Eric Young, he makes it a very good wrestling promo, which from what we were getting right before him is actually a downgrade. So we get a very good wrestling promo is a downgrade from what we were getting from G.O.D. But I hope that people are able to see like what the charisma that just jumps through the screen when you see Tama Tonga. Just such an underappreciated, utilized guy in the business. But Brandon, what do you think? Am I off here? Like, did you feel the intensity of these guys' trying to sell you this angle?
Especially when we got to the point he talked about, he's like, I brought you in.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, you could tell the passion. You're right about that, Vet. You can definitely tell the passion behind what these guys have been talking about. Which it's been leading up to this, which is why I feel like them finally coming to blows was kind of disappointing. But later on in the show, I did see something that we often complain about. G.O.D. did not do when they came out for their match. Foreshadowing.
Well, we'll get to it. Next, we see Mike Bailey posing like one of those fountain statues on some bleachers.
Water.
Yeah. And Ace and Madman walk up, and I'm not going to rehash this whole thing, but basically, Speedball passively aggressively calls Madman the weak link of the team, and sets up something with perhaps Ace and Speedball teaming up to go after the tag team championships at some point. So there we go with that. Did you like the fountain pose? Or could you hear the fountain pose?
I did. So by the time I had gotten home, I was close to being home by the time this popped up. So I saw some of the fountain pose, and I liked how Madman Fulton kind of got in his face when he insinuated that they were going to cut Madman Fulton out of the picture and become tag team champions because they haven't been able to do it yet. So little tension there.
All right.
No, I dug it. I like how it's like Speedball's kind of flipping it around. Like you kind of think the usual way they're going is they're taking advantage of him and using him, and he's kind of like, okay, I'm going to play my little mind games with you now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Reverse psychology there.
Yeah, he's maybe smarter than we think. He's not smart enough to avoid that mullet haircut, but he's pretty smart.
He chooses to do that, Vet.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Like, I could understand if you like at the barber getting a cut and then you got an emergency phone call or something and had to leave, but let the man finish otherwise.
It's probably mental illness. Not as bad as the gentleman that came into the restaurant tonight and told our security guard that he plays for the Duke basketball team and he didn't get a chance to play this Saturday night because he doesn't start. He was on the bench. And then the security guard said, "Hey man, you look like you've been in the military." And he's like, "Yes, I just enlisted 2 weeks ago." He ordered a calzone and left.
Well, you know what happened the last time you questioned somebody's credentials in your restaurant?
That is true.
So,
It's true.
So anyway, so the influence is going to mark Caleb's spot at ringside with gaffer's tape.
No, that's duct tape.
it was blue, and I thought it was like painter's tape, but it's too thick to be painter's tape.
Tom thought it was
probably
duct
more
tape.
like gaff tape.
And he quickly corrected him. Matthew did. He was like, "Why is he walking around with duct tape?" And Matthew's like, "That's gaff tape." Duh.
Yeah, they set that up. That's the pre-planned bullshit that the announcers call in the back. So this is Madison Rayne versus Cassie Lee, and I'll anxiously await Canada Spaceman's review of this. But I'm just gonna talk about the spot that we already kind of mentioned, where Jesse ends up in Caleb's arms, which prompts Madison to ask him what he's doing 50 times. Like you said, very, very audibly on the camera right there, because the camera's right there shooting it. And then Madison gets kicked and suplexed and beat. So, big win for Cassie. And Caleb's job is in question. Thank you. Brandon, thoughts?
Just angle advancement, character development, and keeping the questioning up of where does Caleb's loyalties lie.
This is that hot writing that the Buckshot Kid tunes in for every single week.
Hey, it's not bad. The storyline's not bad, Bet.
No,
it's been intriguing the whole entire time.
I know. I have to.
You just don't want to admit that it's good.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
You don't want to admit
you have
that
to
it's
understand
okay.
everything's relative. Like if I'm comparing this to SmackDown, hell yeah, it's good. But compared to almost anything else. So anyway, we get a something vignette here. It's too bad that he's not going to be with Impact Wrestling, because he's definitely
Maybe he can go be in an 8-man tag with Rohit on AEW Dark.
That's his way in. And then next thing you know, he'll be in a Revolution ladder match next year.
He'll be the Joker.
The quote, yeah, he'll be the Joker. That's Jack Other.
Jake someone.
I have.
What you doing to my dog, you see?
I had, but in all seriousness, I did write down a quote that he said here, because he's basically, it's kind of like a vignette, like it's not like one of the live shot promos. They did Brandon just say anal advancement and character development? No, he said that a few minutes ago. What writing better than Impact? Yeah, exactly. Well, nobody's trying, so they win by default. Yeah, but anyway, the quote is, "I don't have time to just have potential," which is a great line, and I suggest every aspiring wrestler burn that into their memory. Write it on your mirror, put it on your phone home screen. I don't have time to just have potential. Potential's like almost an insult in wrestling. It's like when someone says, "This guy's got all the potential in the world," what they're basically saying is, "Look at him. Why does he suck so bad?" So you don't ever want to get labeled with potential. But yeah, so I like this, but we're not going to see him anymore, apparently. Unless he shows back up and signs one of those big phony contracts just like Josh Alexander.
As Jake somebody.
Well, can he get his real name back now?
Diener?
Yeah.
You expect to be in a Diener.
I'm back to be. He just joins Violent by Design. He just he re-signs and joins them.
He's like, Joe Doring quietly leaves, and then Jake Something's back as the big guy. Like, you don't notice.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I've always been here.
Time. I'm Jake Doring.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get Brandon involved even more, because next is Tasha versus Chel.
Yes.
With Mickie on commentary.
With the puppies.
Yeah. So, essentially the story of the match here is that this is essentially for the number one contendership that we're going to see a sacrifice. And
a sacrifice.
By sacrifice.
And I don't know what the percentage chance was, but Tasha Tasha is gonna, well, she's gonna get the frog splash for the win to get her second shot at the title after Chelsea eats a Timberland from Savannah. So shenanigans. It's not quite fair, but that's our story. But anyway, this is Chelsea, so it's Chelsea time. So that means it's a sack of ice time.
Well, I like to get into a match with Chelsea because I like the way she pins people.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, nobody said anything about Chris Sabin here. Cut that off.
It's Brandon's time, sir.
I did notice that she does need to follow through a little bit more on her clotheslines, at least from the ones I saw. And will it come into play later with Mickie honoring Chelsea's wishes not to get involved with after Evans' interference? Because that was the kind of the thing, and that's what ended up costing her.
Well, we already spoiled that. But yeah, I've got nothing really to add on that. How did this match sound, Colin?
Um,
Because I know that now once you're home and you're getting things done and you're still not actually watching it.
I kind of saw. I watched a little bit more of this match than you would think. The interference was coming. I mean, they pretty much called it a mile away when they were like, "Oh, she asked Mickie not to interfere," and then you see Savannah interfere, and then Mickie just kind of stands there and doesn't do anything, and she rolls her in, and Tasha gets the win. Now,
Mickey's on commentary. She can't get involved.
I'm loving Tasha. I'm a big Tasha fan now. I want to see her go on and win the title. I want big things from Tasha, especially since I saw a tweet the other day where her and Thunder Rosa were offered referee gigs in the WWE, and they turned those down to continue their wrestling careers. And as you can tell, Thunder Rosa's doing big things over there in AEW and on the independent scene herself. And Tasha Steelz is trying to make a name for herself in Impact Wrestling. So, bet on yourself here. And I really think Tasha Steelz has a bright future ahead of her. Big Tasha Steelz fan now.
So you say Tasha and Rosa got offered referee deals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, when they offer you a referee deal, they're basically saying never. You will never work here. So that's like code for anybody that's just a fan and doesn't really know how this business works. When you try out to be a wrestler and they say, "Hey, we'll let you be a ref," that's basically saying you will never work here as a wrestler. So,
which is crazy because I like Thunder Rosa and I think she would do well in that women's division.
Well, they probably, when she's doing a tryout, this is okay. The views and the viewpoints I'm about to express are not those of myself or anyone here. This is the company's viewpoint. If Thunder Rosa went into a tryout, she's not going to be in her gimmick. She's just going to be in whatever her workout clothes are, whatever she's going to look, and they're just going to look at her and be like, she's too ugly. We're never going to hire her. Okay? Again, not my opinion, not the opinion, but for the people that like, an exclusive catalog full of women that look like Kelly, and that's all they want for their entire women's division, they're just going to look at Thunder Rosa, and that's what they're going to say. And Tasha, they're just going to say this, she's small even for a referee.
Yeah, she's small. Yeah, that's.
But she's way too pretty to be a referee too. Yeah. So it was basically them just, by making that offer, it's basically
she could
saying
be a manager. She's so good on the mic. Like, she's good on the mic. Like, put her as a manager.
They don't care.
I get that.
They don't care what's good.
No, and I get that. But imagine Tasha Steelz going toe to toe on the mic with like a Bianca or a Sasha Banks or a Bayley, or even her managing one of those girls and able to be a mouthpiece for, granted those girls don't really need a mouthpiece, but the dynamic between the two of them or, the three of them, or even having her be out there with a Tamina, like something like that, where she can talk a bunch of shit and Tamina can take the beat down and all that type of shit for, I think people don't like People didn't like Stokely Hathaway, and now people love Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah. Well, it's like you say that, but we would not even know about that if she didn't bet on herself. Because if she ever showed up in the WWE, you would not be getting this.
Yeah,
you would think she would just be another girl reciting scripted promos, and you'd be like, Tasha Steelz mic work sucks, and they should just release her. She's too small. That's what we'd be saying if she went to WWE, and they had offered her
for the women
a contract. But because she bet on herself, now we're getting this version of her, and that's good for us. So. Yeah, Spaceman says Thunder Rosa without makeup is good looking, not fake like typical WWE divas. And I agree with that, but they don't. So that's why they're them and I'm me and whatever.
We are
Matt Cardona asked for he's asked for a backstage pass by security, even though he's carrying his championship belt in there with him. And then he basically just scoffs at him and then just walks by. So I guess that's the level of security. That's why every time you see security, they just get beat up, tossed around, pushed aside, marginalized, don't ever do anything because they just don't care. But why isn't... I wonder the reason why they're not using this chance to be like, hey, NWA champion coming through. You know, did this set of tapings occur before he even won that title?
No, actually, I don't think so. I think they happened
I don't think so either.
After it, because I know a guy that went to the show. He went to the last pay-per-view and the tapings that they had after. And I just don't get how they're saying he's being disrespected. When has he been disrespected since he's won this championship? I get that they're playing up these guys, disrespecting him in the back, but where has he been disrespected really since he's come back?
I don't know. This is the Fig Bath guy, so I'm sure you can disrespect him all you want. But the thing is, like, I think if I had to guess, I would say the reason for them not wanting the NWA title on there is because they don't want the NWA title to overshadow this shitty little digital media championship that they created. But that is a bad attitude to have. All you have to do is just have him put over that title when he's on the show. You know what I mean? He's like, look, man, I'm a champion. I'm 2 champions of the world, man. You know what I mean? Like, you put it on equal footing and then problem solved.
The digital media champion of the world.
Yeah. So now instead of being self-conscious about the NWA title being on your show, now you just say, no, we're on the same level as you. You know, that's what you do.
And then get some more heel heat in NWA for putting that title on the same level as the NWA title.
Right. See, you see
how you work it right there.
So easy.
You had to pay for that on Channel Attitude Impact.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. We're getting at least some $5 subscription over there. It has to be. And they're not gonna. Whoever's listening is probably not gonna like what I'm about to say next because we get Swinger versus Jonah too. Yeah. Oh, God, man, almost grabbed me there. Oh, he did grab me. Shit. So the thing about this is, look, I know Swinger's a rib, and I know everybody in this chat pretends to. They pretend to like him, and they pretend to enjoy his content and stuff, and I get all that. But this right here, like, this was the softest, sorriest lockup I've ever seen. And that may sound like a nitpick if we're just talking about like a collar and elbow tie-up, but it was literally 50% of his offense, so it's kind of important because that's all he only had one chance to do something, and it was this lockup, and it was just awful lockup. So I just always, I didn't care about Johnny Swinger back in his original ECW run or at any point in time, really. Not in WCW. I've never cared about Johnny Swinger, but it never in my mind was it like I was like, oh, this guy's the shits. So it makes me wonder, is he wrestling? I know he's wrestling as a bad character and making bad jokes on purpose. I know that. I also know that his matches aren't designed to be 5-star classics. I understand that. But the actual mechanics of the match, is he going that far? Is he such a good wrestler that he's doing a shitty lockup? Because that's still not the right approach to take. But I just can't believe that these kinds of things could occur with a guy that's been around for so long. You know, it's embarrassing.
I mean, he is kind of older.
I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more of that pay envelope for more effort, there, Daddy.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I just don't know why you can't just lock up. You know, why can't you just lock up? That you would think for an old veteran wrestler, that would be the one thing you did do right. If you're playing this character, you would think that, dude. Remember when Eric Young was doing that character where he just started locking up with people at like gas stations and stuff all the time?
That would be you. I would say you'd be across from him in the ring, be like, "Come on, lock up, bro. Lock up with me, bro."
Yeah.
Come on, Vet. You know you would.
Johnny Swinger's doing a version of the character I used to play in OVW as a rib when it was promo practice time. Like I had the grizzled smoker's voice, and you know I just did everything like that, and I talked about how long I've been wrestling. So that was like just a character I did as a joke, and I'm sure Ben probably wanted me to do that on TV, but he never brought it up to me because I was like, no, this is just, you know, in my mind I'm like, this is just for you guys here, and no one's gonna see this. I'm just popping you guys. I'm not doing it like as a character I want to do, because that character wouldn't make sense. It would expose the business. And now, all these years later, I'm talking about Impact, reviewing it, where a guy's doing a character that fucking exposes the business. It's exactly why I didn't want to do it. But my other question is not so much about Johnny Swinger, because after he's about to get squished again, PCO comes out, you know, because he's got a big match with Jonah at Sacrifice. So my question is, does PCO use self-tanner everywhere except his face, or is he tan and he uses pale makeup?
I think the pale makeup is part of his face gimmick.
Okay.
Because I was noticing that too, about how his skin was very blotchy in 2 different colors. That weren't the only one that noticed that.
I see.
Maybe he tans and then just gets the white makeup on.
Yeah.
True. That too.
Which that makes no sense either, right? Like, what? I'm only dead in the face. So
does
the
he
rest of
tan
me's
with
alive,
white
but-
makeup on?
Yeah. That's a side effect of getting electricity shot through the bolts in your skull. You lose color in the facial region. All right.
Well, it's a different head on a different body.
Oh yes, of course. That's right. Well, then if he really needs to commit and get a Stitch tattoo, like around his whole neck. Bullet Club's backstage, too sweeting each other. Then we go to Deonna with Gia, no music underneath, interrupted by Giselle Shaw, interrupted by Frost. They've got a rematch for Sacrifice, guys. They've got a rematch for Sacrifice. I can only imagine that. It's funny that Deonna didn't have a comeback for 2 people interrupting her promo segment. You would think a character like that would not take that lying down, but yeah. Anyway.
Not excited about Giselle Shaw. Just yeah.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
This is a heated rivalry.
Sorry. I got my Tasha Steelz. I don't need a Giselle Shaw now.
I turned the show off. I'm dead.
I'm done. I got my I need Nikita Lyons and Tasha Steelz every week. I'm good to go.
Okay.
G2G. Giggity giggity.
Explain Giselle Shaw's sunglasses with the chain hanging off of them.
I think they're supposed to.
There would be
go
this
to the
pair
back.
of sunglasses that has a chain hanging off of it. Any other questions?
I
They're
got
probably
feeling,
supposed to go around the back of her head, and she just wears them around the front like that Canada Spaceman to look important, to look different.
Trendsetter. Brandon,
Trendsetter.
please.
I got a feeling that there's
Quintessential
some money and artwork that exchanges involving Nikita Lyons.
There's some what now?
Money and artwork exchanges of Nikita Lyons.
It's probably. She's
Nikita Lyons NFT.
non-fungible Nikita.
Yeah, I want to own a digital media piece of that ass.
NFT that pick.
Is what people are saying. And then we get the 8-man.
What's up, Frank?
Ready for the 8-man? Are we ready? What is this? Are you just hitting buttons again trying to find out what they do?
I know what they do. They're labeled.
So this button labeled Imperium.
This button is labeled Imperium.
You tried to. Okay.
This match, Vet. This is confusing. So we get all the people come out right now. This is what I was talking about, where I foreshadowed earlier in the show. G.O.D. comes running out. Now they're ready to kick someone's ass. Now that's how you run down the ring to go kick someone's ass, and the whole thing just erupts. Everybody's out there kicking everybody's ass. We've got Eric Young's not even supposed to be in the match. Eric Young's out there like he could sacrifice his chance, at the tag titles for these guys.
He said the thing,
and he's out there. He's out there, and then all of a sudden,
Guards! More guards!
come out of nowhere, Vet.
Guards! More
I
guards!
mean, it is
Guards! More
just
guards!
insane with the amount of guards that come out.
Guards!
Just
More
more
guards!
just more guards come out of nowhere. And as chaos just breaks down, guards are getting thrown out of the ring. Bullet Club members are getting thrown out of the ring. Violent by Design members are getting thrown out of the ring. Tama Tonga and
not by the guards,
Tongaloa are kicking people's asses. They're not getting thrown out of the ring because this is their goddamn ring. Scott D'Amore comes down with the fucking goddamn headset around his fucking neck, and he's like, "Guys, this match is not gonna happen, but it's gonna happen tonight in a no DQ match. Guards,
Guards! More guards!
get the hell out of my ring!" And then as the guards leave, I don't know if you noticed this, but Eric Young kind of like moseys behind the guards and leaves the area. And then, because I was watching it, and I'm like, why the hell is Eric Young leaving? Like, it's a no DQ match. He should be down there kicking somebody's ass. Then they mention that if Eric Young interferes in this match, that they would lose. VBD would lose that shot at the titles or whatever. But why say that now? Than when he's out there kicking somebody? Like, he's already a part of the match now. Like, he's already interfered in the match at the beginning when the guards came out and all the chaos happened.
Why say it now? Why say it when everybody else is blatantly at ringside interfering, like the Honor No More guys, or like Savannah Evans just a couple of minutes earlier? Like everybody else doesn't get ejected, but Eric Young's got to get ejected, or there's just the consistency thing again is just the problem. And it's like security for this. I mean, as Moose was calmly breaking Morrissey's neck with chairs like a couple weeks ago or whatever, nobody does anything. But don't have the guys that are scheduled. Don't have the 8 guys that are scheduled to fight each other. That's horrible. Get some security to break this up right now. And then as Scott D'Amore comes out, he's channeling the entire decade of the 80s into his promo here, and he's like, get the hell out of my. It's like, who sent him to the ring? It was you. You sent him. You're the one that says guards, more guards.
Guards!
Right?
More guards!
That is actual recording of Scott D'Amore saying that. Yeah,
exactly. So
not from Orgasmo at all.
Yeah, no, not even close. No one even knows what that movie is. So.
It's terrible porno.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, these are the things that I always try to point out, and so in the hopes of repeatedly pointing it out, they will try to fix it. Now I do like that they wanted to involve security more, but they've still got to find that the uniformity to it, and like establish a set of rules for their universe. Like, if you're going to kick somebody out for interfering in matches, you got to kick everybody out all the time. You got to be specifically banned from ringside beforehand, and people have to know that. That way, when you cheat and break those rules, then it's like established, like you're definitely breaking a rule. And it's more noticeable because it doesn't happen all the time. Now, speaking of the hot start in this match, so G.O.D. hits the ring, like you said, right? And guys, what did Jay do? Did you see what Jay did?
He powdered out.
That's right. Immediately. So everybody else is fighting. And then Joe Doring's left. He's the odd man out. So he goes. And did you see what happened after that? He chased Jay White halfway around the ring. And then he gave up. And then Jay sat out until he thought he could sneak attack the Gorillas. And then he slides in to try to jump them. And then they turn around and catch him. And then before they could lay a hand on him, the Gorillas got jumped from behind by the other guys. So this is all before the security comes out. So now Jay White hasn't even got touched in this whole thing.
Well, they did that throughout the whole entire time too, because even after the match had started, Tama and Tonga, they got their hands on Jay White. But as soon as they got their hands on Jay White, in came Gallows and Anderson to break it up. It seemed like that was what they were playing the whole entire time. We didn't get to see. That was a neat little storyline to play in that match where we didn't get to see those guys touch pretty much that whole entire time. And then they, halfway through the match, they broke the match off to where it went from an 8-man down to basically a tornado tag match with Doring and Diener still in the ring with Chris Bay and Switchblade as the Good Brothers and G.O.D. battled all over the arena. Leaving the Good Brothers finally ran away. I laugh because
were you laughing because Gallows is using a child's orange T-ball bat?
No, well but when they're leaving, Gallows just has a random steel chair. Like he went in that room like he was just gonna grab it, and like had actually it wasn't even a steel chair. It was like one of those waiting room chairs. And he just kind of like just throws it. Like here, I'm gonna put this in front of the door to stop you from getting to me. Like just little things.
It's like that scene in Breakfast Club when the principal tries to put the door to hold up the door is way too heavy, sir.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
So, well, that being said, now when everyone leaves the ring, who's there after escaping from all the carnage earlier, even though there was a little bit of tussling later but like who's left behind to do the he's behind me, isn't he spot?
Oh, that was fun. The Doring and Jay White as he backed into Joe Doring that was standing there. I liked how he played that up too.
And then he repeatedly got double teamed for like the next 30 seconds after that by both those guys.
And Joe Doring brought a door into the ring.
Like, oh, there's a door.
There's a door.
Yeah, that's the new thing. Who needs tables? Let's get doors.
Let's
build a house in this motherfucker. So there's that, and then who sneaks in and steals the win with the
Jay
suplex
White
and the Blade Runner on Diener. So again, another perfect example of Jay White coming in. He gets the heat by avoiding contact with everybody. Then when it's his time for comeuppance, they beat the shit out of him, and then he still sneaks out a win at the end. Are you seeing that this man is a genius now, Brandon?
Yep. Tell
Tell me about Jay White. Are you fully bought in now? Are you fully invested here?
I completely get it now. The man knows how to work.
Yes. So yeah, and then like, but the ending was a little bit flat because it was just like the Good Brother stumbling out the door, escaping from the Gorillas, and then it just goes off the air. Like it was nothing particularly exciting. They just showed Gallows stumbling through the exit door, and then the Impact logo comes up. He didn't even run. He just staggered. So that was the Impact that lead us into Sacrifice, which we are about to cover right now. But any further thoughts before we jump into Sacrifice?
My sacrifice
Needs more moose. Needs more moose. He needs more of the champ.
Right.
Other than just a quick little spot in the beginning where he does this thing where he gets pinned by the contender.
Right.
Like we could have had that 8-man tag, like, you know, as like the semi-main in the middle of the show, and then had the thing with Heath and Moose both throughout the show, and then climax at the end.
Yeah.
Always
we
need a
didn't. We
climax
definitely
at the
didn't
end.
get that. We just
not.
got, again, a little bit of Moose, just a little Moose, and what he did was stupid. Not how he performed it and pulled it off, but the fact that they had him do it. Like, why would the fucking Kingpin, you know, instead of taking on somebody like Spider-Man or Daredevil, why would he, you know, stoop so low as to, you know, fight, I don't know, what's a shitty Marvel hero with no powers?
Frieza versus Krillin.
Morph.
Yeah, not even Frieza versus Krillin. It would be more like Frieza versus...
Yamcha.
Not even.
Chiao Tzu.
No.
Pilaf.
Chi-Chi. This would be like Frieza versus Chi-Chi. So anyway, but we'll see if we can remedy that at Sacrifice.
Wait. What? What?
Sacrifice.
Oh God, don't play this. It's okay to make the joke verbally, but I don't want to hear the actual music from Creed.
Have to.
Don't do it.
Have to.
Don't do it. We're gonna get struck.
No, you won't.
Will you please stop? All right, so the pre-show. I'm going to talk about the pre-show over this. I'm not even going to let this happen. It's the sequel now. Frost versus Shaw 2. We're here. We've built everything around this.
Sequel no one ever wanted. Was this sequel better than the first? Sequels are usually never better.
It might be. This might be the Godfather 2 of matches. This could be the new standard. Will you cut that shit off, or I'm walking off the show. I'm not gonna listen to no fucking Creed on my show. Turn that shit off now. Now. You didn't get enough of Creed 20 years ago? You really want to go this far for a joke?
Yes.
Okay. Especially now that I sold it, but back on topic. So Frost is now from Winter Hollow. Is this our fault? Do we do this?
I don't remember saying anything about her origin.
Well, we made fun of the fact that they said she's from someplace cold. Then they started saying stop saying she's her home. Time out, Canada Spaceman. 5 minutes. Time him out. Time him out. They said she was from someplace cold, and I said on the air multiple times that's jabroni-ish. Then they started saying, my mic sounds great compared to Sacrifice. Yes, there were a few audio hiccups during this show. It was like some of it just wasn't clean. Some of it there was actual feedback, like, you know, when they mic up the announcers at the desk, but the house can hear them. And then like there was a feedback thing. It was like, ee! And like this fat lady in the front row was like, she like made a face, like yeah. There's some
like, how long have they been doing this and they still have these issues? Like they shoot all these house shows and these tape shows and they don't have any issues. Then they get to the live thing and it's just like,
I think it's because the taping they can fix some of that stuff.
They let Beaker
just like you
the
go
truck.
back and fix some of the stuff in post. You know,
I don't.
And
I don't fix anything in post.
Well, sometimes you have, or somebody has, but
Ray does that.
You have in the past, Colin. Play along.
Beaker
You've done it in the past.
Beaker's
quit
in the
arguing.
truck, just like, I don't know what's going on. Him and the Swedish chef. Impact's like, oh, we got to go cheap. Swedish chef and Beaker. Let's get them in here.
Bork. Yeah, that's how they are when they're live. But the rest of the time, they can go back and maybe touch up some of those things. Anyways, whoa, that's a low blow. All right, okay. Frost used to be called from someplace cold. Then they stopped saying that and saying she's the coolest person you'll ever meet. And I said that sucked. Now she's from Winter Hollow. Guys, for the record, I don't have anything to say about it. At least you made up a fake place that sounds like it could be a real place. No, I think somebody owns that. In this match, even though this might have been better than part one, Frost still missed her like Trouble in Paradise kick move by like a foot. Like not just her own foot, but like a foot in front of that. And then and she slapped her leg, so you know.
Oh, but it hit. It clearly hit. Like Darby Allin's coffin drop.
The important yeah. Poor Darby, right? when Darby is the worker of the two, right? That's when you know it's bad. The temperature drop, just so everybody knows, is the normal moonsault. But when she does the frostbite, there's like a little twist in the moonsault. So don't be fooled like I was. Those are two different moves. Did you see this pre-show match, Brandon? And did you have any thoughts?
I kind of skipped through the brief show. The only stuff, one thing I takeaway I did see from this match was that I think is that Giselle needs to do her Irish whips more from the center of the ring instead of like from the other side. Because it's like if you're doing that, why wouldn't Frost stop herself?
Right. Well, we know why Frost wouldn't stop herself, but why wouldn't a good opponent stop themselves? Yeah, you're right. That's a bad habit. You got to break that. You got to bring them out and whip them from the middle. Mickie and Gia with no music underneath, interrupted by Chel. They do the stalker storyline from 16 years ago with the roles reversed, and now Mickey's the one that's being stalked, except she's kind of into it because they're best friends and they love each other. For now. And then our pre-show main event was a Swamak versus Tan Oni Lorcan and Tall Ace Austin with Mickey Mouse gloves, and Maria was on commentary. This was, well, it was. Now, let's move on to the main pay-per-view.
Tan Oni Lorcan.
Huh?
Which one's Tan Oni Lorcan? Mike
it's Oni
Bennett?
Lorcan, but he's with the tan. Mike Bennett? Yeah, is that what his name is? I'm sorry, he looks so much like every other bald wrestler with a beard that's white. I thought this wasn't Oni Lorcan, because you know when Lorcan got released, right? He's back to the indies, so.
Like, who's
I should have said Tan Biff Busick. That's what I was.
Who's
I'm
the
sorry
guy
for
with-
confusing you.
Who's the guy with the gloves now? Who's that? Who'd you compare him to?
Tall Ace Austin with Mickey Mouse gloves?
That's so accurate.
He's like a Ring of Honor champion, man. How do you not know this guy? How do you not know Tall Ace Austin?
I don't. Tall Ace Austin.
He might come to WrestleMania and fight Kevin Owens. Oh, that's the Austin.
No, that's
man.
Steve
Oh.
Austin. Not
Oh
Ace
man. Well, that has a better chance than Steve Austin accepting. So, I don't know. Let's get on to the main body of the pay-per-view. We're gonna kick it off with something versus Trey Miguel, and just for your edification, Colin, Trey is still behind with the timing on the spray paint.
Thank you.
He's
He needs
not
to work.
quite,
Can we
just
just
not quite
ditch
there.
that?
He almost had it, like he was going along with it at first, but it outpaced him and just beat him to the finish line.
They need to slow it. They need to just get a good of him doing it and follow that timing cue.
Well,
and
why
just
don't-
not
Well, why don't he just
Not
do it faster than he's doing it? How many times has he done it now?
I mean, honestly, taggers do it a lot faster. If you watch some of these graffiti documentaries, like these guys are literally going down a wall and just one motion hitting like a 3-letter tag and then just moving on down to the next part of the wall and hitting another 3-letter tag, or just like a really quick like little throw up where it is just like one quick motion and it doesn't even look like they're doing it all that much, and they'll just go down and hit these walls and just so yeah.
Well,
something
obviously
there.
they got a real tagger to film this
Get with
thing for
Banksy.
his entrance, and the non-tagger Trey Miguel can't keep up.
Get with Banksy. Get Banksy to coach, or Shepard Ferry. Get somebody. Like that would be a cool hookup. Like let Trey Miguel like get hooked up with the Obey guy and bring him in for a stint at Impact Wrestling, and you know, who knows what could happen from that.
Well, I think you've sufficiently lost every one of our audience and not know who you're talking about, but I'm going to give you an A for effort, and I'm going to give these guys an A for effort because, like everybody in Impact, bust their ass. So, like, I hope everybody keeps that in mind. All the people that are listening to Impact and feeding this back to everyone, I hope you all keep in mind that even if I tear your match apart, like, just because I think Frost is not good at wrestling doesn't mean I don't want her to continue wrestling, get better, and that I'm not rooting for her, or that I don't think she works hard. They just have to do different things. So that's all I'm saying. So I think everybody's working hard, and these guys had a good physical match.
I second everything you just said.
Yeah, and I definitely think that there's some innovation coming out of the things that Trey Miguel wants to do. Some of it some of it lands with me, some of it doesn't. But I like that he's thinking about it. For example, and because I like these guys so much, I will tell them exactly how to fix something that they did in the match.
For free.
Okay. First, I'll lay out and try to refrain from the interruptions. Just let me get through this. It'll go a lot faster. Okay. I'm trying to get Colin to bed on time. So they did a spot in the match where, you know how guys do that Japanese run thing where like they'll hit somebody, then they'll turn their back and then get ready and just run to the ropes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, apropos of nothing. So they went to do that spot, and then Trey goes to run, and Jake something steps on his foot. So he goes to run, stops, turns around. Jake something lays him out with a good forearm. It's perfectly. It made a good sound, but it was perfectly safe, and Trey Miguel sold it. He dropped like a sack of shit, and then he's sitting there selling the forearm, and Jake just pumps himself up. Then he goes to the corner and starts telling him, get up, you know, like the spear thing. Like everybody, like we don't have enough guys doing spears in this company alone, let alone in wrestling business in general. Right?
Did he twirl around and then like hit the mat like on his knees and then like tell the guy to like come on?
No, he just screamed in the middle of the ring after he knocked him down. Then he walked over to the corner, and then he got down and was like, get up. And this whole thing played out in like, it felt like 5 minutes, but it probably took like about 30, 35 seconds or so. So Trey Miguel he just took a knockout shot. Now he has to like wake up and slowly turn around, and then he goes over to the corner and Jake something spears him in the corner or whatever, or I don't even remember what happens after that. But the point is, the way you do that same thing is when he hits you with the forearm in the first place, instead of going down like a sack of shit, shoot over to the corner right away and sell and fall down, like fall down, almost hitting your face on like the bottom turnbuckle. Then while he's like climbing up the ropes to pull himself up so that he's not on the ground, that's when Jake something is going to the other corner preparing to spear him. So the crowd sees what Jake something's going to do. Then by the time Trey Miguel is standing up in the corner, Jake something runs through, boom, hits him with the spear. If you do it the way they did it, it looks stupid for Jake something to knock this kid out and then not go for a pin and just stand there. Like, why wouldn't you? You could have won the match right there potentially. And then it also makes everybody just have to watch you stand there being a gorilla and making noises instead of just finishing this match. So you get to the same place that you wanted to get to, but it's smoother. It takes a little bit less time, and nobody looks as stupid. So that's logistics advice for the week. And also they did a spot where he hit he did like a suicide dive Canadian destroyer onto the ramp on Jake something, and then ended up like firemen's carrying him and putting him back in the ring after that. That since Miguel was going over anyway, that should have been the finish. He should have been counted out, and then he might as well have been carried out. Because if you get a pile driver on the ramp, that should be the end of the night for you, at the very least, if not the end of your career for about several weeks.
That's a stretcher job.
Yes. So especially with what happens later in the night, that would have been a great spot for a count out win that Trey Miguel gets. And then Trey Miguel can be a babyface because he goes and he shows concern, but Jake something isn't able to respond to him. So as he gets carried out, now you've got some drama. Now the people have seen something. You normally wouldn't want to do a spot like that in the first match of the night, but I mean, come on, we're throwing the logic of card building out the window here. So let's just do that. And then now you've established, yes, pile drivers are dangerous. Yes, the outside of the ring is dangerous. Yes, even a man with the neck of Jake something can get hurt. And Trey Miguel still won.
It's the Madcap Moss neck.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. Brandon, what do you have to add to it?
Other than Trey Miguel must be from a crib time with how much he can keep taking stuff and keep getting up.
Yep.
Superman, Trey Miguel. It's all the spray paint fumes, Brandon.
Yeah, they'll do it.
All the spray paint.
Okay. So Tasha's with Gia, no music underneath. Good promo from Tasha. Don't remember what she said, but it was good. Now Fat Eddie versus Rhino. So this was a main event angle just the last pay-per-view, and now it's second match. Way to go, Eddie. You sure did make the right choice. So here's the thing about the match, right? I hate you, Eddie. I hate you. You betrayed us, Eddie. I hate you. Now let me chop you through your t-shirt. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on.
Kim Owen.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. Come on. Maria gets ejected for trying to introduce Kenny into this match. Why wouldn't everyone get ejected? Because like all these guys are out here again. So why wouldn't everyone get ejected? And this was just the worst Tennessee wrestling, full pantomime, like Brian Hebner doing the whole you're out of here. Like this, I know they're in Kentucky, but these guys have seen some shit, okay? They don't need to go back this far in the hot tub time machine. So I thought that sucked, but this is like what we were talking about. Not only why wouldn't everyone get ejected, why would everyone even be allowed out there? We all know what's going to happen. You've seen it week after week. So why not have Scott D'Amore to say, you guys are banned from ringside? Okay, well, because then you can't do a bunch of shenanigans. That's why. Especially when this ends with shenanigans. The only difference between this and that old school Tennessee wrestling is this has the twist of everyone must dive on each other. All the non-active participants in the match they all have to take turns diving on each other in piles. So I don't think they did that back when Lawler and Dundee were fighting, but they probably should have. They probably could have had packed the house even more.
Do you think it was when Kaufman and Lawler were wrestling?
Oh man, can you imagine if instead of a pile driver and a stretcher job, like, oh, I don't know, I just said we should do it in the first match of the show here, they just, Andy Kaufman just stood outside the ring and Jerry Lawler dove on him and then he got taken to the hospital.
My neck, Jerry, you dove on me. My neck. You broke my neck, Jerry. I'm gonna sue you.
Oh man,
you'll never crossbody dive someone ever again. Speaking of crossbodies, that Joe Doran crossbody from the Go Home show was very nice.
Fat guy crossbody.
Joe Doran has a very nice crossbody for
the rare
dude. Yeah.
So there's another twist in this match though.
Twist.
Burt Macklin gets Kenny, and then he hits Rhino.
So wait, does that mean Kenny is not a part of Honor No More, but he's also not a part of Impact Wrestling anymore? He's a part of Steve Macklin's faction now?
Kenny's his own stick.
A splinter cell, if you will.
Oh,
see what I did there?
Oh,
that's a triple reference. That's a triple reference.
Kenny is the hottest new Impact star here.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen on this week's episode of Impact.
It's going to be thanks to us.
That's right.
It's going to be thanks to us.
He'll get a higher position on the card than Moose, the champion.
It's going to be Kenny versus Moose at Rebellion.
Yeah, but Josh Alexander can't make it. So none of this makes any sense, right? Including the entire. As I was thinking about it, because I was writing my notes and then I was thinking like, none of this makes sense. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like literally, like the premise of Honor No More makes no sense.
Because now they're owned by Tony Khan.
Well, even before that, just take that out of it. Think about it. So these guys are saying that Ring of Honor is corrupt. All of pro wrestling is corrupt. So what do they want to do? They want to invade and have matches so that they can be officially part of the corrupt company. And then what? So now now you went from one corrupt company to another one. At the same time, now look at
then they get the chicks.
Then you look at the corrupt company itself. So now Scott D'Amore he let these guys in because they won a match. And now you have the power. Hold on. Hold your questions. So now you as Scott D'Amore, remember when you were a kid, you would support your. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oof. If you're Scott D'Amore and these guys are saying that the company's corrupt and they didn't get opportunities in their company because the company's so corrupt and they pushed the wrong people and the wrong people are on the top spots. Now you're going to come here, and if you're the company, why do you now have to give Honor No More the top spots? Couldn't you just still be corrupt and then keep them down in the new company too? What do they hope to accomplish with their mission statement of? Oh yes, Colin. What is it?
Professor Vet, what wasn't the whole point of all of Eric Young's promos long before Honor No More got here? It was because professional wrestling was infected with something. You could say something that was corrupt or some kind of infectious disease. Wasn't that the whole point of Violent by Design being put together so that they could stamp out the corruption and infection that's in professional wrestling? Most notably Impact Wrestling, Professor Vet.
Yes, Colin, that is correct.
Oh, so we got two factions doing the same thing.
Well, potentially three. Especially if the Splinter Cell takes off.
Well, I mean, if Kenny and Burt Macklin take over, yes. Oh, God, that could be... Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah, so I don't know. So we don't... Macklin was saying something as he's going up the ramp. I couldn't really tell, but he didn't necessarily come right out and say he's joining with Honor No More, but, I mean, he was just fighting with them this past week, so...
I think he was screaming something about how he was pissed about how they didn't believe him when he tried to tell them that it wasn't him.
Yeah, well, it's a little late because you still had the match with them and then you still fought on the go home show. So, like, too late for this gimmick.
Too late now.
Right? Yeah. Influence bans Caleb from ringside. They tell him, no, you stay in the back. We'll take pictures after. And then we get Madison and Tenille. Okay. We get Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood versus The Inspiration. Did you catch that, Brandon, where he started to say her name wrong and caught himself in mid-announce? Okay. Well, Colin, I know you didn't see this, but...
Oh, I did not.
Do you think Caleb stayed in the back?
No, of course not.
All right. Well, I'll let Brandon take it away with the rest of this and tell you what ended up happening here.
I thought it was a very clever finish where he had the belt and the way they I forgot which two it was, but it was one person from each team was like lined up like perfectly in front of each other. He threw it in. I think it was Cassie. It flew under her legs. I think it was Tenille who picked it up, clocked her with it, 1, 2, 3, and it was never clear who he intended to throw it to.
Oh, that's kind of I do like that ending. Yeah, that's more intrigue. Could be coming on the heels of this stuff in this week's show coming up. Excited.
All right.
More storyline, Betsy. They
Yay.
even kept this going. We've got like that little bit of like so from your perspective, Vet, how is the storyline and how they're kind of milking this working here with this match and the finish of this match to kind of get a little bit more out of the storyline? Would you have ended it here? Or, you and Ben working in the back, coming up with things of what you would do for this match. Would you have stretched it out a little bit here? Try to get a few more weeks out of this thing.
Well, I don't know because it really depends on the availability of the rest of the talent.
Got some Caleb fans in the chat.
Caleb was the MVP of... I would have thought Canada Spaceman would have said whichever one of the knockouts had like the least amount of clothing on their body was the MVP of Sacrifice, but I guess he likes Caleb, so that's good too.
He did really good.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think with the new champions of the Influence, you almost have to have like, well, certainly the Inspiration's got to get another shot, so we've got to at least stretch this out a little bit. And then however that match shakes out, that's where we're going to find out where Caleb's allegiance truly lies, right? So yeah, it kind of almost, even if it's writing itself, it all has to go a little bit longer. But also because they don't have a deep tag division here. It's like we haven't seen Decay in a little bit. So
yeah, we really haven't seen Decay. You're right about
Yeah,
that.
that's weird.
Where's
And
Rosemary been?
even if Rosemary or Havoc or whatever the reasons they're not there, maybe injured or whatever, but they can still, provide entertainment on the show in other capacities. Anyway,
Wrestle
speaking,
House.
speaking of entertainment, Anthony Corelli is backstage. Surprise guest Anthony Corelli is here. Colin, you're making a face.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I know who that is.
Okay. I was worried there for a second. But for the people that don't know, that recognize the name, it's Santino Marella.
Santino Marella.
Yes, the great Anthony Corelli is here, and he's giving Heath a pep talk. Heath is basically telling Ryan, I don't know, man, I don't know. And then Anthony Corelli walks up and he's like, "Oh, Heath, you making me so mad. And you're not to believe in yourself." No, he didn't say that. He just uses regular voice this time. And so, yeah, he gives him a pep talk that says that he should be believing in himself because he's been doing this for 20 years and nobody makes it that far if they don't have something. And every champion that's ever been a champion, it started with an opportunity, and this is his opportunity. He got me pepped up listening to him talk. I was like, man, maybe I should lace up the boots one more time. And then I was like, nah, Nick Dinsmore is a way better leg wrestler than me. So I just won't do it. I'll
No,
just stay
you
retired.
represent North Dakota, vet. How dare you? It has
I
been your
can't.
dream to unify the North and the South Dakotas into one championship. You do not let Nick Dinsmore, you do not let fucking Eugene fucking beat you in goddamn leg wrestling.
I can't, bro. Like, I'm from California. I have no passion for North Dakota. I can't lie to the people any longer. So Brian Myers has his alternate commentary table set up, and Morrissey puts a security guard through it. So they can write in security for this spot. But look, this thing that they're doing is fucking dumb. And I hope they all know that. I don't know what they would do instead with these guys, but the idea of just having an extra long table that Brian Myers could sit at for alternate commentary that never ends up happening.
It's a
I
fun
don't
little
know.
gimmick. Come on.
Well, they could take this even further. Like anytime Brian Myers, like outside of wrestling or in his normal life, tries to enjoy anything or have any fun, there's Morrissey there to ruin it for him.
Oh, that would be great.
And a camera, conveniently, right?
Of course. Like that's like for one, like there could be like say he's at a gas station and there's security footage of him like getting a scratch off ticket. Hey, I won. I'm gonna turn it in. All of a sudden, Morrissey's music hits. He walks in, power bombs him on the counter, turns in, and takes the money.
Who's playing his music? The PA system at the 7-Eleven?
Yep.
They just start. It's like bing bong, and then whatever his generic music is.
Look, I am all for gifs of Morrissey just hopping up, like looking like Keith Lee was when he grabbed Christian at the AEW pay-per-view the other night. He just menacingly just comes up out of nowhere. Brian Myers at the grocery store checking out groceries at the self-scan, and then just Morrissey just comes up behind him, just like big boots him. He's like getting his dry cleaning. Morrissey comes out from between the dry cleaning things. Like, yeah, let's do this.
So essentially what we're saying with this is Morrissey has no life and he has time for all this.
Yes.
That's great. The only way I'm going to go along with this is if he's taking the selfie footage himself. Like if it's from his perspective and you just see Brian Myers being shot with a cell phone and then you just see a boot come into the screen and kick him. Like that's the only way I'll be okay with any of it.
Or find out the cameraman is Enzo.
No, I like the selfie one better. All right, so let's get through this. Jonah versus PCO. Before the match even started, I wrote down, "Oh boy," because I know what's about to happen. I'm not going to say everything that happened in this match. I'm just going to talk about the power bomb from the stairs to the floor, and then he just rolls PCO in, and tsunami. And so now, if you remember what I said earlier about the match where I said that should have ended in a count out, right, with the pile driver. So now imagine we've already seen a guy who's got pile driven on the floor get stretchered out. Now you see PCO take a power bomb onto the floor from the steel stairs, right? but it's PCO and that gimmick, right? He can't kill him, right? So he works the 10 count. Jonah just goes back in. He's like, this is done. I'm going in. I'm going to take my 10 count. Then you see PCO. Now he's working this 10 count. The referee goes to check on him. He sits up slowly or whatever, and he struggles to crawl inside the ring. He barely beats the 10 count and crawls in the ring, and guess who's waiting on the top rope? Squish, Tsunami. Then that's the finish. Wouldn't that have been a much better finish, Brandon? Okay. It's like pretty simple, but you could have done it anyways, but it would have been even better if you would have stretched out Jake something earlier in the night. It would have worked even better. But yeah, so that was it. This was very scary. I don't know what possesses PCO to do this. I think people like him enough, but now he can't stop because they'll probably complain. And God knows that if the internet complains at you, you know, it's the end of your life and career.
Yeah,
So
that's his gimmick now, though. I mean, it's kind of him going out and just throwing himself with no care or regard for his own safety.
the grizzled old veteran stereotype is they tell you not to do exactly these things. And the young guys that are in the business now that are getting told by veterans not to do things won't even do half the shit that PCO will do.
PCO.
So it's the ultimate irony.
And hope they're both feeling well after that Frankenstein. It looked like Jonah landed on PCO's leg.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure a lot of body parts landed on other body parts in this.
I was kind of worried about him when he hit those splashes on him in the go home show, because the first one he hit him with, Jonah just kind of went up on the rope 1 foot and jumped off.
Yeah, it just fell off.
And then the second one, he was kind of like PCO was positioned differently, right? Like his head was more towards the turnbuckle, and I'm like, oh my God, no, he's not about to like fall on him like this. And then the way he fell in the ring and he landed on him like safer than what you thought he was. I'm like, okay, cool, he didn't kill this guy, but still a big ass motherfucker like that flying off the top rope. Yeah, I don't want him landing on me.
Well, if Jonah knows how to work the splash, it's a little uncomfortable, but it wouldn't kill you, especially with the give that those rings have. Like, they have very bouncy rings in Impact, so it's probably fine. But if he's not good at working the splash, then yes, it's just as bad as it looks. Jay has got, he's with Gia and no music underneath. Jay says that Shelly may have known him in the past, but Jay has no idea, or he has no idea who Jay has become. So I don't know why Alex Shelley. I mean, I get that they built a story around it, like with the mentor-mentee relationship in the past, but like Alex Shelley has been on no TVs. He's had nothing to do with anything. It's like they just brought him in for this. He didn't even get an interview at any point to set this up. Not that anybody would want to see an Alex Shelley interview, because that's not going to help sell anything. But I'm just saying, like, it just seems very random and last minute to just throw this match together just so Jay White can have a match.
Why not set something simple and easy on the last time? I could have done something where sent Bullet Club to do like maybe something like Paparazzi Productions and stalk him and his family.
Yeah, anything but this. But we get this. It's Jay White versus Alex Shelley. Cold. Jay White is announced to be from Austin, New Zealand. I think that they meant to say Auckland because he's from Auckland. And I don't know if there is an Austin in New Zealand, but I guarantee you if you Google Austin, New Zealand, what will come up is a bunch of flights that you can book to go from Texas to New Zealand, if that's what you Google. Yeah. No, so Spaceman, look, it's not about Alex Shelley. It's like, why Alex Shelley? Because he just hasn't been around. That's all. It could be Alex Shelley. It could be anybody, but it should at least make somewhat of sense. Maybe they did this stuff all on social media and I just didn't see it. Okay. But yeah. But yeah, go to a wrestling company and say, no, we'll take care of the angle on social media. Thanks. Like, and see what they say, you know, see what their opinion is of that. So I know Jay knows how to be a heel, but for whatever reason here in this match, it was kind of put on the back burner to have a 50-50. So even though at the end he refuses to shake hands with them, which is heelish, but the crowd seems to very much enjoy what Jay White is doing. And he's not really playing into that, but he's also not playing out of that. He's not trying to tell the story of, I'm going to make you cheer for Alex Shelley. They almost seem much more happy to see Jay White than they were Alex Shelley, because let's face it, they've seen Alex Shelley plenty. They're just now getting a taste of, the new guy here. So it was a good match, but not as good as it could have been. Brandon, what'd you see?
I felt pretty much the same way.
Okay. Then we get Violent by Design Eric Young promo. And by the way, that's probably for Jay White, that's probably like me cutting a promo on him like I cut on Johnny Swinger earlier. That's like that version of it. That's the worst thing I could say about Jay White. Jay White, you didn't quite have the right match I liked. Okay, anyway. Violent by Design Eric Young promo. Good promo as usual. It's Eric Young. He knows what to do. He could do this in his sleep. Then we get the Champ Challenge. Chell answers the Champ. This is what we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. Deanna holds the armbar a little long, and then officials come out, and they're like, hey, don't do that. Let her go. And then Mickie came out because she's concerned, and then Tasha comes out because she's going to fight Mickie. And then they go into Tasha versus Mickie basically from here. Any notes on the previous match, Brandon?
Same thing about with Tasha as Giselle with the too far away with Irish whips, that they need to be closer to the center of the ring. And that looked like was it? I don't know. Was it this match? There was a tumble from the top rope to the floor.
I think that was this one.
Yeah, like how? Yeah, that was. Yeah, because I remember Mickie like taking the bump, and it's like, how is there a safe way to take that?
Oh wait, you're talking about the Tasha and Mickie match?
Yeah.
Oh, I was still on the Chelsea and Deanna match. Just if you had anything for that,
Yeah, just the way that finish came off just seemed like really awkward. Like, was she really hurt? Was there some confusion? And then like Deanna like she thought she was hurt, and when Chelsea shoved her away, she thought she was working it, or like that just came off really awkward.
I didn't see anything that I thought wasn't a work, so I just assumed it was all part of it.
Because she came off, it turns out she's actually injured, but then is that a work too, or like?
Yeah, exactly. Are they reporting that? Are the sheet writers getting worked? Is this a kayfabe angle? I don't know. Look, we'll just have to find out. But so now we're in the Tasha versus Mickie match, and now Tasha jumps before the bell officially rings, and then Savannah comes after Chelsea, right? And then Mickie goes to kick Savannah in the balls, and then we had the part you're talking about where they both did they kind of did like they were fighting on the top and they both fell off and out to the ring. Is there a safe way to take that? I don't know. I don't think so. It's not the kind of thing you can practice, really. I think you just have to use the general, like, if you get good wrestler training and you have an aptitude for it, then you kind of learn like the ways to fall in which you're going to do the least amount of damage to your body. At least hopefully you do, like a cat. You try to be like a cat and land as safely as you can, and your body will instinctively go to those positions. But when you're just tumbling off the top, and hitting the buckles in the apron and the floor on the way down, I don't know. What do you do? Like, hey, let's go out to the ring before the show and practice that? Hell no.
Right, exactly.
I crash myself right there.
Exactly. Like, there's no way to practice that.
Yeah.
I mean, is it one of those things, Vet, where you try to hook the rope or do something with your leg to try to hook the rope? I mean, I know when you're going over the top clean on like the normal sides of the ring, right? Like you'll see guys hook and try to plant, or they go out different ways, right? I know you guys are trained different ways to go out and take the bumps and stuff like that. Like when you take the clothesline over the top, there's certain ways that you take it blind and things like that. I mean, that's something that, how many clotheslines over the top have you taken where your back is to the outside of the ring and you're taking it blind? Is that something that you practice?
You don't practice it really. The only thing you ever practice or should ever practice are the basic bumps. Those are the things that you do hundreds and hundreds of times to get used to it. And then through that repetition, you just sort of like instinctively learn how to land if you were falling. So like if a wrestler slips in the supermarket on a wet floor or whatever, he's probably going to do as close to a flat back as he can. Or at least even if he doesn't fall in like you don't want to really take a flat back on a linoleum floor, but you at least know not to land on the points of your elbows or the back of your head, right? So most people know when they fall down just from playing as kids, like what's going to hurt and what's going to hurt less. You know, you want to land on, if you can land on your, like take some of it with the side of your shoulder or, you know what I mean? Or your ass or like, just, it's different. Depends on the fall. But I don't know. There's just no training method. And I would have to go back and watch this like a bunch of times and break it down to do it. And I don't want to do that. So let's just say they got lucky. Later in the match, Savannah comes all the way in the ring in full view of the ref and goes for a boot on Mickie. Now, she doesn't hit the boot, and then Mickie kind of takes her out of the match there, so the ref doesn't call for a DQ. But, you know, that would have completely ruined everything. What if Savannah had kicked her? Then the ref would have just said, ring the bell, and now Tasha's not the champion. But that's not how it goes, because they gave Mickie every excuse for losing, and she did lose. So Tasha is your new Knockouts champion. How do you feel about that, Colin?
We did it. We didn't do it with Heath, right? But we did it with Tasha. So either way, we walk away Impact World Champion. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, it was going to be crazy if Mickie just won again, and then it's like, all right, now what?
Who else? Masha, duh.
Masha Tasha.
I had a feeling that they were probably going to put it on Tasha, with as much as they've kind of strapped the rocket to her in the past month or so of Impact Television. They've really been building her up since her and Hogan split and Hogan went on to greener pastures. But I really liking what they're doing with Tasha here. Now you're going to have somebody who's more of a homegrown Impact talent having this title. And it's nice to have the title back on homegrown Impact talent. I mean, you could say Moose is homegrown Impact talent. We've got the title on him. Now we've got the women's title back on someone who should be the face of the brand. I think out of all of the women that they have in this division right now, Tasha Steelz should be the face of Impact's women's division. I feel wholeheartedly about that bet.
Brandon, you agree with all that?
Maybe not the face, but definitely like one of the people to build it around. Definitely for the future.
You're gonna make Colin grit through his teeth and cut a Tamatanga promo. She's the face. She's face.
Scott D'Amore, goddammit. If you don't fucking make her the fucking face, goddamn Impact Wrestling, I will fucking come to Canada with fucking Ben Hameen. We'll fucking we'll fucking put her face on your face like Face Off.
That's supposed to be a threat to me. Why?
All right. All right. Well, here's a threat. You might have to watch a Good Brothers match. Good Brothers versus Violent by Design.
I need a good rest.
This is the chance. This is finally the chance. Violent by Design has been bitching about these tag team championships that they probably don't even want. It's probably more of a GP thing right now. And yes, for the fans that are asking, there was a chin lock in this about halfway through.
You have to chin lock yourself during the Good Brothers review. So put yourself in proper positions for the that you're not reviewing it. You're supposed to be reviewing it while we're in chin locks.
Bro, every time I watch that, it's a virtual chin lock on me all the time. Anytime I talk about these guys, I don't even need to give myself one. I'm still feeling it. But Violent by Design pull it off. They're finally the tag team champions. Yay. Yay. So all that Good Brothers turning on that don't mean nothing. They ain't shit. They can't even hold on to the shitty Impact championships from this group of fucking meth addict white supremacists. Okay. Finally, we get to Moose versus Heath. The Moose event on Moose Refice. and Anthony Corelli comes out to join the commentary booth. Moose is a wrestling god. We all know that. On the other hand, unfortunately, and especially in this match, as much as I've ever seen it, Heath looks like a fucking bum. I mean, can anybody dispute that Heath looks like a bum?
Hey man,
Maybe.
I got kids.
Yeah, his budget all
All
goes
my
to
money goes to my kids, man.
yeah.
How dare
He doesn't
you?
have any money for wrestling gear or anything. He probably borrowed those elbow pads.
Hey man, how'd you know? Did you go through my gear bag in the back there, vet? I don't appreciate that, man.
Didn't even have to.
How'd you know?
I
I ain't got
feeling.
knee pads either, man.
No, you don't need knee pads when you don't do anything.
'Cause I got kids.
When you don't do anything or take
Hey.
bumps, you don't have to have knee
I won
pads.
fair and square last week. You saw it at the Go Home show.
Yeah,
One,
I
two,
saw
three.
it.
In the Rich Swan counted it in the ring, man. He's like one of my kids.
It was good. He's the smallest one of your kids.
He is.
So even after Moose rips off his shirt, or like he rips the shirt,
Hey man, I
And-
wish I could be ripped like Moose.
he rips the shirt and he chops Heath, and he fires up, but he still won't take his shirt off. Like that's how bad his body is. Like it's just he's wearing that tank top with like one of the straps is like torn where Moose tore it to chop him, and he won't fire up and like Hulk up and take the whole rest of the thing off. Like I thought that was gonna be the spot. Like fuck you, but no, he just leaves the shirt on. So, but Moose looks great, and finally somebody on this goddamn show is acting like a heel because Moose had his working boots on for this.
Kenny came back out.
Nope.
Oh,
No, even better than Kenny. He basically this match was basically Moose beating the shit out of Heath Slater, and then going over.
as it should be.
5 stars. 5-star match. I loved it. Not just because it was what it was, but I also thought this was how you would do a match like this. This is a guy that doesn't belong in this position. He's actually doubting himself that he belongs in this position at the beginning of the show, and he has to have Anthony Corelli come in and talk him up into it. And then Moose runs out here looking like a god, where Heath Slater looks like he's gonna go paint somebody's house, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him and literally tossed across the ring twice.
Hey man,
By Moose.
I gotta get this paycheck taking these bumps, man. I gotta keep
So,
my kids.
I don't care about your kids.
Hey, Scott Demore, you shut your mouth.
So yeah, what it worked out here was Moose, like I said, he had his working boots on. He wasn't doing his big athletic spots. He wasn't doing his Japanese pointing and running. He wasn't doing all the stuff that he normally likes to do. He was just being a heel, kicking the shit out of this guy, saying, I basically don't have to expend any effort. I'm just going to kick you and throw you and just, take my time with this, and I'll end it when I want to. So he kind of plays with his food for a little while, and you keep thinking, and the reason that's good is because it gets the crowd into it to want to see Heath. Allegedly, you would want to see Heath like, come on, Heath, fight back, do something. And then, he'll go like a little spark of something and then get shut down again. And then you keep thinking like that moment's going to come where Heath gets the big comeback and he's got Moose on the ropes. And then, Moose just barely won when he slipped on a banana peel, and then Moose is still the champion and he escaped by the skin of his teeth. Instead, Moose almost gets a comeback started, then Moose shuts him down and pins him. It's fucking great. It's exactly the way it should have been. It's the perfect amount of storytelling. This is classic pro wrestling. This is much more Tennessee pro wrestling than all the pantomiming earlier from that Honor No More mess. And Buckshot Kid's asking, now do you know why I fantasy booked on your channel? Yes, I get it now. He was laying out what he thinks should happen. Because at the end of this, Alexander shows up, like we already talked about. Colin spoiled this. He lays out Moose. He signs his contract. He said he's had some time to think, and he went home, and home just happens to be by Anthem offices. So he got a new contract and 2 new contracts, actually. He got a contract to work for Impact for a multi-years, which when you say a multi-year contract, that already sounds phony, because if it was a real guy, he would just say how many years it was. It's a dirt sheet writer that would say a multi-year deal, right? Because they don't know. So he says he's got that, and he's got a contract at Rebellion to face Moose for the championship. So that's where it
Oh,
is.
Moose is losing this title, guys.
Unless,
Back to Josh Alexander we go.
No, that's probably it. Go ahead, Brandon.
I could have stretched it out to Slammiversary, like actually have like Alexander like still under contract, but have him like not say anything, have him appear on different indies, just whatnot, and then when the time's right and ready to start building for the Moose Alexander match, that's when you have him come back.
Yep, they could have done that. Moose wasn't created from marble. He was created from a guy that used to be shaped more like Heath Slater, but he put the work in the gym. So if you're Heath Slater and you know, like, hey, I'm going to get a shot at this, can you at least get in shape to the point that you feel comfortable ripping your shirt off? You know?
It's for TV, man. I didn't feel like, look, man, I just wanted one more sandwich and one more burger, man. I didn't feel like getting in shape for TV, man. I got kids, man.
You're supposed to have the sandwich and the burger as a celebration after
kids.
sacrifice.
Oh, man, I have it before.
And you got the shit kicked out of you and you lost. So,
Hey, man, I already won. I celebrated my win after I beat. You saw it. Saw it at the go home show.
non-sanctioned.
Me and my
Non-sanctioned,
kids,
Heath.
we celebrated with Rich Swan.
Let's talk about your kids. I got kids too. I don't give a shit about your kids. So yeah, that was Sacrifice. It only had a 66 and 2/3% chance of me not liking it, and I would say I probably only liked 24% of it. So it was all right. Any final closing thoughts on Sacrifice, Brandon? Do you think they had a good card build overall, and were there any standout matches for you?
I mean, for the 2 weeks that they had, I mean, they tried their best. They just need to cut down on the premium events, like maybe to 6 a year. Give each one maybe a 2-month build would be nice. As far as standout matches go, that Jonah PCO, that was brutal. They just killed each other in that.
We knew they would. Yep.
For me, I'm looking forward to more inspiration and influence to see what continues with Caleb with a K, who I feel, you know what, I'm agreeing with the chat. Caleb with a K, all-star of Sacrifice. He wins my Sacrificial Lamb Award for the week. This is going to be a new thing for the Sacrifice pay-per-view. Now we're going to give out the Sacrificial Lamb Award for the performer who did the best, and Caleb with a K is the first annual winner of that award. Taking bets on if we remember this next year.
Oh,
You already forgot. All right.
no, I was gonna say, I was trying to think like, what's the proper bet the under? bet they will not remember next year. Bet
we
that.
will not remember this. Well, I guess that's it for the show. Brandon, if you want to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can support you and all of that, go on ahead and throw that up there.
Yep, you can find me on Twitch at Miss Tia the Transarchist, and as always, every Monday night right here with these two awesome gentlemen talking about the great world of Impact Wrestling.
That is so true. And Vet.
Yes, you can also find me on Twitch at well, I couldn't possibly. Oh, there it is. Look at that. You don't even have to ask because people do ask sometimes. But yes, Opinion Haver Everywhere is a real thing. And if you want to go on Twitch and see me swear at Elden Ring because you don't want to play it through it yourself, then definitely check out. There's a lot of fun surprises that happen playing a game like that. That is not on my Twitch. That is on someone else's OnlyFans. But
you'll be reviewing that Wednesday.
Top 5 Nikita Lyons Instagram photos. Scrap the whole Evil Geniuses thing. That's nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, we should just change the Ridiculously Nikita Lyons podcast.
Right. I'm sure Ray would have zero objections for that. So, yeah, that's one place you can't find me. If the only place you're not going to ever find me is on the Ridiculously Random podcast, I'll probably do every other podcast before that one. But other than that, Next Level Wrestling Review 2.0. every Wednesday. And it looks like I'm going to be on the Smack Attack again. Last week I completed the Grand Slam of 4 shows, four shows in the week of Impact Attack, Next Level, Light the Fuse, and Smack Attack. So I'm going to be back again because John is going to be spending some quality time with his father at a car show or something. So it'll be me and James talking about SmackDown and crying into our hands. And I think that's about it.
All right. Well, guys, you can find me tomorrow on over at twitch.tv/The A Show with the great, the wonderful April Hunter as we I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's ridiculous and random over there too. Now she'll let me know before the show. But check us out 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/The A Show, and on Wednesday 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over there at twitch.tv. You can follow myself and Big Ray on Instagram and on Twitter. You can also follow us on twitch.tv/ridiculously random podcast, which some of you are over there right now. Pierce is over there. Buckshot Kid's over there. We had someone checking in from Argentina. That's kind of crazy. We had a German watching us earlier. Shouts out to Alexa. So make sure. Or, look here. I'm going to.
You say a German like she's a random German. You know who that is.
German. She is a random German. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time here to like the stream. Go over and subscribe to the channel. That would be the Hummy Media Group YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. Also go over to twitch.tv/ridiculously random pod and follow, like, and leave a comment. Leave a comment in there for us, so that helps with the engagement, so we can get to affiliates, so we can go on ahead and start getting the ball over there. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time here, guys.
All right, goodbye, everyone. I'm leaving right now.
That's it. All right,
We're
ladies
gonna
and
go to a baseball
gentlemen.
game.
Yeah, we're going to the baseball game. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Impact Attack. And for Brandon and the Vet, I'm Colin Wysong. We will see you all next week. Adios. And